but I find it befuddling. Alright, that's where we start. That's how I'm feeling. I'd love to know how you're feeling. You know, this is such heavy subject matter. I just want to say on a lighter note, Mark, I love your kitchen. It's giving me great renovation ideas. I gotta find something positive to say because the news is so dire.
Well, thank you. It seems everyone these days is reporting on the news from their kitchen with all the social distancing. But I am getting fat, though, because just 6 feet from me is a bunch of food. And I just bought one of those supersized containers of peanut butter-filled pretzels from Costco.
The one benefit of working from home. All right, thank you, everybody. Happy Sunday to all of you. There's this new social media app called Parler getting a lot of attention because conservatives are saying they're leaving Twitter and Facebook, going off to Parler because they believe Parler's a safer space for them. What we're seeing is even more of a bunker mentality in right-wing media, and ultimately that's not good for the country.
No, it's not good. It's a threat to democracy, that these people are in echo chambers and they're getting fed a diet of lies, essentially.
I don't think CNN is, or any other channel right now, is anti-Trump. What we are seeing are journalists trying to stand up for truth and decency. And when President Trump gives an inspiring speech, we do say so. Even when I was growing up, I was interested in being on television. I would pretend to be a television anchor in the basement, but sometimes I still marvel that they allow me on television. Can I just put that over there? It's okay to not be okay right now. That's the main thing I want to say to everyone watching. It wasn't until this Friday night that I hit a wall. I was supposed to be finishing my nightly newsletter that I mentioned earlier, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't get it done, and that's when the tears came. I mean, yeah, there were some messages from guys trying to do that performative masculinity thing, saying men shouldn't cry or talk about crying. Yeah, he still seems to prefer these small fights with the press instead of focusing on the virus. And that anti-media propaganda video is an example. He started this briefing with that anti-media propaganda video, which is nothing short of disgraceful. The country is being misinformed. I think it's fair to say the country is being lied to about the small pilot program that they're implying is going to help the entire country, starting Sunday or Monday. I am sorry to say it will not help the entire country on Sunday or Monday.
How is this going to affect Americans?
Well, I think big picture, today was the day that tens of millions of Americans felt the impact of the virus for the first time. Whether it's your favorite NBA team being affected, or whether it's The View not having a studio audience. I think in some ways companies and corporations are leading the way now. They are ahead of the federal government. The president not reassuring the public tonight, labored in his breathing, struggling to get a coherent message out, but corporations are leading the way. And signaling that this is going to be an impact to our lives for the next month or 2 or 3 or more. I've been getting some grief from Sean Hannity this weekend, speaking of Fox, right? From Hannity for once suggesting that I thought Avenatti could be a serious candidate for president. So give me a media critique. Was that stupid on my part? What do you make of how Avenatti was covered by CNN and MSNBC? Despite Trump's claim, there is no evidence that Bloomberg is asking to stand on a box. And there's nothing wrong with standing on boxes. By the way, some of the candidates do that at debates so that the camera angles all make sense. And let me just say one more thing, which is this the state of the GOP? That we just sit there and we just make fun of other people? Is that what this is now? Hey, I'm Brayain Steltera. Welcome to Reliable Sources. This hour, as the impeachment trial goes on, brand new polling from Fox News.
Right now, we've spoken about this. Right-wing supporters are leaving Twitter for Parler, switching the channel from Fox News to Newsmax. What do you think is driving the changes we're seeing in the media landscape?
Yeah, this is the giant move from 3 channels to thousands of channels, and in every interview Obama's given about his new book, he is talking about these changes in the media ecosystem that are making it harder, he says, to govern and to have a functioning democracy. I don't think anybody would want to turn back the clock 50 years and go back to a time before the internet, before mobile phones. At least most people wouldn't want to turn back the clock. But the consequence of this technology is that everybody is the member of the media, and these incendiary platforms with hyper-partisan content and lies and smears, they are able to get major traction. Obama talks about this in the interviews that are going to come out in the next few days. He is very critical of this disinformation world that now exists, but like everybody else, Pamela, he doesn't have any easy answers he can identify the problems, then he's right about the problems, but there are no easy solutions to these problems. What we are seeing from the president is delusional weakness, unable or unwilling to accept reality. He is spinning up delusional stories about mass voter fraud and about machines being rigged, and there is demand for it. Let me show you the ratings for Newsmax. I've never seen anything like this. In the 16 years I've been covering Fox News, I've never seen a channel pop like this. Going from, I don't know, like 100,000 viewers a day on a good day, Greg Kelly's now getting 1 million viewers a night. Fox has never seen competition like this in its history. So what you have going on is this right-wing audience that's ticked off at Fox News for not being pro-Trump enough. I never thought I would see it. The photos the White House has been releasing, the videos, we have to show them because they're the only evidence that we have of the president's condition, but they are propagandistic. That's unfortunately the situation we're in. And on the White House Correspondents Association is calling out the White House right now. This is the press corps, the press pool that is supposed to travel with the president at all times. They were not informed of this photo op. They were not with him when this happened. That is a grievous breach of protocol. And the association is saying, quote, "It is outrageous for the president to have left the hospital, even briefly, amid a health crisis without a protective pool present to ensure that the American people know where their president is and how he is doing. Now, more than ever, the American public deserves independent coverage of the president so they can be reliably informed about his health." That is absolutely correct. And by the way, Anna, if the president was feeling so well, why didn't he walk outside in the fresh air rather than get cooped up in that car? I mean, that's not a comfortable place for anybody to be in. As a COVID-positive patient, he could have walked out onto the lawn and waved to the public. Here is a unique way to evaluate presidents. Just look at their diets. Look at what they are consuming. I'm talking about their media diets and what those diets reveal about their leadership. He is tweeting about Newsmax and One American News more than ever before. Then he flies to Georgia and he plays a montage of clips from those Newsmax and OAN shows at his rally. A montage. It's like he wants my job. We usually make the clip reels around here. But I really shouldn't joke because there is nothing funny about this. It's getting more severe. Aaron, your review of this, when you see entire media companies essentially exist to tear down Joe Biden, is there an equivalent to that on the left, tearing down Trump?
There really isn't.
It's so disappointing to look at what we're seeing in right-wing media these days, where there's such an obsession with the deep state and these revelations about the Russia probe and the decision about Michael Flynn. When the president called into Fox and Friends the other morning, Friday morning, right before the unemployment numbers came out, he talked about the Flynn case for 20 minutes. Let me introduce you to One American News. It's a conservative cable news channel that claims to be
your source for credible, honest, unbiased reporting from around the world.
But it's actually anything but that. OAN is part traditional newsreel.
Facebook announces a major deal.
Nancy Pelosi called Joe Biden the right man for the job.
Today marks National Jelly Bean Day.
And part right-wing commentary with the occasional baseless conspiratorial video thrown in for good measure. So beyond irresponsible content and hard-right commentary, OAN is probably best known for asking some of President Trump's favorite questions at White House press briefings.
Go ahead, OAN, into the OAN, please, OAN. OAN.
In 2015, OAN hitched its wagon to the Trump train.
Trump's political views on key issues have remained remarkably the same for nearly 30 years.
Chanel Rian, who is billed as their White House correspondent, she has a long history of spreading conspiracy theories.
Rian has not responded to multiple requests for comment from CNN.
Despite facing all the increasing censorship over the last few years, I'm still doing okay. And I'm confident that my book is going to do very well. So, really looking forward to that.
You understand that someday you're going to regret this, right? Someday you're going to regret this when your kids and grandkids
I'm so sorry that
this time
I write
use
best-selling
slurs
books
and smears
that I'm
like
debunking fake news
to hurt news outlets.
I'm so
Mark,
I should have picked a different career.
I think in 10 or 20 years, if we just sit down and talk about this, you're going to recognize how damaging this was.
Yes.
How damaging it was to use terms like fake news to attack journalists who are trying to do their jobs.
Oh, try to do your job. You're hilarious, Brian.
Well, I appreciate you coming on to talk about it.
I'm glad to be with you. I'm having fun.